Hello everyone. In my today's class I am going to deal with the topic which is nothing but normalization of a wave function. So today we are going to learn what is normalization, why we need to do the normalization, how to normalize a wave function and also its time evolution. Before going to that concept, let us recapitulate some details about a wave function. We have already studied about wave function and we know that it is derived from a Greek letter xi and it is a mathematical description of quantum state of an isolated quantum system. So in quantum mechanics, that is every system has a wave function associated with it, and xi is going to provide us everything whatever we need to know about the motion and the behavior of that system. And as it is a complex valued probability amplitude, we need to know the probability density. That is, wave function xi as such is not having any physical significance because it is complex valued, that is of the form a plus ib, where I is root of -1. But when you multiply it with its conjugate, you get the probability density of measuring the position of a particle and its evolution with respect to time. For time t, what is the position or what is the probability of finding a particle for that time? So mod of square of xi is going to give a real term which is very important in measuring or knowing the particle's position. And for a wave function to be physically measurable and for its meaningfulness, it has to satisfy some conditions, and mainly it has to satisfy three conditions. First is it must be a solution of a Schrodinger equation, that is it must satisfy the Schrodinger equation, and we know Schrodinger equation is nothing but Hψ is equals to E into xi. Then the second condition is it must be continuous, and the third condition is the wave function must be normalized. So why we need to normalize is clear. In order to be physically measurable, the wave function should be normalized. And how to normalize? It is using this normalization condition, which is nothing but integration from -infinity to +infinity of the probability into the volume, that is d tau dx into dy into dz is equals to 1. So it is something like if you are tossing a coin, the probability of getting heads is 0.5 and getting tails is again 0.5, but the total probability is going to be equal to 1. In the same manner, this integral, which is from -infinity to +infinity, because we are considering the whole universe, it can be from any place. The probability over the volume integral or any position, it has to be equal to 1. That is the maximum probability, and this is the normalization condition. And we know that is a complex wave function as such, it is not giving you any details, but with respect to the probability density, easily we can get the position of a particle, or with respect to time, how a particle is going to change its position can be studied using the probability density function. Now let us move on to the normalization condition for one dimension system. See, first thing we need to know is for a wave function to be valid, it has to satisfy the Schrodinger equation, and by using the Schrodinger equation only we get xi. That is, Schrodinger equation is nothing but IH cross dou xi by dou t is equals to minus h cross square by 2 mu into dou square xi by dou x square plus v into xi. This is the Schrodinger equation, and when you solve it, we get the solution of xi. And let us say, that is, an example of wave function and its probability. This we can observe that the wave function or the probability is not going to meet at 0. It is extending from minus infinity to plus infinity along horizontal axis if we consider. But if that is the condition, then the normalization integral whatever we have, that is integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of xi star into xi into dx is going to be greater than 1, which is not acceptable result. It has to be equal to 1 always. And if that is the condition, then generally we do the normalization, that is we are going to multiply the unnormalized wave function with a constant, which is nothing but normalization constant. And here we are going to consider phi of x comma t as unnormalized wave function and xi of x comma t be the normalized wave function. We want to get the normalized wave function means we need to multiply the unnormalized wave function with a constant, and here xi of x comma t is equals to n into phi of x comma t, where n is the normalization constant. And now we need to find out what is the value of n. For that we need to consider the normalization condition, which is nothing but integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of xi star into xi into dx is equals to 1. When you just put the value of xi star and xi, we get integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of n star into phi star of x comma t into the xi value as it is equal to 1. Here we need to know n is a constant, however we are writing it in terms of complex term, but it is real. Then n star into n we can write it as square of mod of n and remaining terms as it is. So if you rearrange it, we get the value of n, which is nothing but n is equals to 1 divided by square root of integration from minus infinity to plus infinity of phi star into phi into dx. So when you put the value of n in xi, we get the normalized wave function. But the question arises is, when we solve the Schrodinger equation, we get a xi, which is the solution which gives the detail about the system. But when you multiply by a constant, that is a normalization constant n, whether the wave function is going to change or no, the simple answer is the wave function remains as it is, because xi is got from the Schrodinger equation, and if you put this normalized wave function, that is n into phi of x comma t, which is nothing but xi, in the Schrodinger wave equation, again you are getting the same result, because when you put this in Schrodinger equation, n, which is a constant, is taken outside. It is not getting operated because it is a scalar or constant, and from the LHS and RHS part, the constant will get cancelled and the wave function is going to remain as it is. So after normalization also, the wave function, that is solution, is not going to differ. The information is going to remain as it is. Let us take an example of plane wave. Let us normalize a plane wave. Whether it is going to get normalized or no is the question. So we know that the plane wave equation is nothing but exponential of I into kx minus omega t. Here we are normalizing means we have to introduce a normalization constant, which is nothing but n. So this will be the normalized equation. Now let us find out what is the normalization constant value. Using the normalization condition, then substituting the value of xi into the condition, we need to know xi star is nothing but the complex conjugate. If we have plus I function, then it will be minus I. If it is minus I, it will become plus I. Other things are going to remain as it is. So when you solve it, we get square of mod of n into integral from minus infinity to plus infinity of dx is equals to 1, because exponential of minus I into the term into exponential of plus I into the same term is going to cancel out, so that we get e raised to 0, which is nothing but 1. When you integrate 1 with respect to dx, we get x. But x from minus infinity to plus infinity, it is a diverging integral. That is, it is not going to give any solution. So, does it mean the plane wave is not normalized or cannot be normalized? If you consider in space, that is from infinity to minus infinity to plus infinity, we can easily understand it is not normalized. But how to normalize a plane wave? Here we are going to consider box normalization method. That is, we are setting a boundary. So again, if we consider the plane wave equation as n into e raised to I kx minus omega t, when you consider in space, that is from minus infinity to plus infinity, we get it is going to diverge. So it is not normalized. That's why we are going to set the boundary. We are considering one dimensional box which extends from 0 to L. Let us say it may be from 0 to A, minus A to A, however it is. Here we are considering this as the boundaries, and we are going to normalize the plane wave within it. So for that, the integration, that is limits, are going to change from 0 to L instead of minus infinity to plus infinity, and the condition is as shown. Then substituting the value of xi star and xi, we get the integral in the form of mod of n whole square, that is modulus n square, into integration from 0 to L into dx is equals to 1. So when we integrate it, we get x into dx, and limit is from 0 to L. So it will be upper limit minus lower limit L minus 0. So n square into L is equals to 1. So n will be equal to 1 by square root of L. So by this formula or condition, we have found out what is the value of normalization constant, and in order to get the normalized wave function, we need to just multiply the wave, that is phi of x comma t, that is exponential term, by the normalization constant. So we get the normalized plane wave, that is xi of x comma t is equals to 1 by root L into exponential of I into kx minus omega t. So this is the normalized wave function. So when you put this wave function back into the Schrodinger equation, again the results are going to remain as it is. So the information or the details are not lost. It is going to be remaining as it is. So normalization doesn't affect such thing, but it is having its own significance for the validation of a wave function. The next question comes is about its time evolution. That is, as we are considering for certain time, we have normalized a wave function, let us say at a time t1. But as the time is going on proceeding, that is like say t2, t3, t4, so on, again, is there a need to normalize the wave function? That is the question here. That is, as the time goes on increasing, is it enough to normalize the wave function only at time t, or for each time interval we need to normalize the wave function, is the question. In order to get the answer for this, again we need to take the normalization condition and take its rate of change. That is, with respect to time, what is going to happen? Dou by dou t is nothing but time derivative. So when you take the time derivative of the probability function over a range, If it is going to become equal to 0, means there is no change, means with respect to time there is no need of taking the normalization of the wave function. It is going to remain as it is. So now let us check whether it is going to be equal to 0 or it is going to have certain value. Here what we are going to do, in order to solve it, we just take the time rate of change of the integral, that is dou by dou t, inside the integration sign, that is solving dou by dou t of xi star into xi. It is of the form u into v. It will be u into dou v plus v into dou u. So here we are getting integration from minus infinity to plus infinity as it is, into xi star into dou xi by dou t plus xi into dou xi star by dou t into dx. Then how to find out the value of dou xi by dou t, dou xi star by dou t? We have the Schrodinger equation, which is nothing but IH cross dou xi by dou t is equals to minus h cross square by 2m dou square xi by dou x square plus v of x into xi. It is nothing but E xi equal to H xi. We have already seen the operator for energy. E is nothing but IH cross dou by dou t, which is the operator corresponding to energy. And H xi, H is nothing but Hamiltonian operator, which is nothing but minus h cross square by 2m into del square, or in one dimension dou square by dou x square plus v of x. V of x is a potential energy, or generally we say it as potential in quantum mechanics. So if you remove IH cross from LHS, we are getting dou xi by dou t. For that we just need to multiply the Schrodinger equation by minus I by H cross. So finally we will get the value of dou xi by dou t, and complex conjugate we can easily do it by just changing xi to xi star and I to minus I. By using Schrodinger equation, finding out the derivative values and substituting in the above equation, and then we need to solve. The integral and the derivative part, they are going to cancel out, and finally we can see that the integral is going to be equal to 0. And that's why we can say dou by dou t, that is time rate of change of this integral, that is from minus infinity to plus infinity of xi star into xi into dx, will be equal to 0. Means with change of time the integral is not going to change, that is it is going to remain constant. The integral is constant, which is nothing but 1. And that's why if xi is normalized at a time t, let us say, when it is once normalized, we don't need to normalize it again and again with change in time. So just once it has to be normalized, then it is going to remain normalized throughout the time interval. So this is about some details about normalization, that is what is normalization, how to normalize a wave function, why we need to normalize, and with respect to time what is going to happen. So this is for today's session, and in next session we are going to deal with some of the problems with respect to normalization as well as Hermitian operator and the fundamental commutation relation. Thank you.